the prison warden suddenly noticed that all the usually well-behaved inmates were now fighting outside. Each of them had a fierce expression, as if they wanted to kill each other. Seeing this, the warden immediately had them all caught, but to his surprise, all the prisoners gave the same explanation. They had come up with this idea on their own. While the warden was still trying to figure out what was going on, one of the prison guards ran over, looking very nervous. He said that 2 prisoners were privately dueling outside. Everyone was shocked by this news. When they arrived at the scene, they found that the 2 prisoners were indeed fighting. The other prisoners had been deliberately causing chaos outside to give these 2 more time for their duel. The reason behind this was that in just 3 days, these 2 were going to be released from prison, and they wouldn't be able to compete in the boxing finals a week later. So, they decided to resolve their rivalry in advance on this makeshift ring. However, they didn't expect that Jack's coach would come and stop him from continuing the fight. The match ended without a clear winner, but Jack and his opponent agreed to continue this unfinished duel on a professional boxing stage in the future. 3 days later, the weather was beautiful, and Kevin was about to leave the prison that day. Many of the prisoners came to say goodbye. Jack stood quietly on the side, watching. He didn't know why, but even though he had seen Kevin as his greatest rival, he felt a sense of reluctance when it was time to part. Jack loudly called Kevin's name, and Kevin asked what was wrong. Jack scratched his head awkwardly, not sure what to say. After their farewell, Kevin left the prison to begin his new life. Since Kevin's departure, Jack had become much quieter. He no longer cared about anything, and even boxing no longer brought him joy. One day, Jack went to the warden and told him that he would not participate in the final match 2 days later. With Kevin gone, Jack had lost interest in boxing. The day of the match arrived, but there was no Jack and no Kevin. The competition felt lifeless, and the other prisoners had lost the excitement they once had. On match day, Jack was alone in his room, watching TV. Suddenly, Mike came to find him. Mike was leaving prison that day and had come to say goodbye to Jack. Jack didn't know what to say, so he simply handed over the prison TV to Mike as a farewell gift. Mike thanked Jack, but Jack could tell that Mike seemed to have something on his mind. Jack asked if Mike needed help with anything, and Mike confessed that he wanted to see Jack's impressive boxing style once again. He feared that after today, he would never have the chance to see it again and would regret it. Jack was shocked by this request. So, Jack and Mike went to the ring. When the other prisoners saw Jack, they became excited and urged him to be as cool as possible during the match. Without Jack, they had been bored out of their minds. Jack didn't disappoint their enthusiasm, putting on an amazing boxing performance. The match, which would have been dull, became lively again. However, after the match, Jack felt sad again. It seemed like something was missing. Not long after, another inmate, who had entered prison with Jack, was also about to be released. He cried loudly, and Jack mocked him, telling him to hurry up and leave. Another friend had left Jack. After that, Jack became even more depressed. He felt that something was missing in his heart. Even in his weekly boxing training, he no longer seemed to be in the right mindset. Then one day, Kevin appeared on the TV. Jack excitedly watched the first match Kevin had since his return. Everyone gathered around the TV, cheering for him, nervous for him, and Jack was no different. He watched more intently than anyone else. When the referee raised Kevin's arm in victory, Jack cheered, feeling a surge of excitement. It seemed like Jack had found hope again. Kevin was back in the ring, and this inspired Jack to regain his motivation. He found his new life goal, to stand on a professional boxing stage and defeat Kevin. With this goal in mind, Jack trained for many days. Finally, the day arrived when Jack was to leave the prison. The other inmates knew he would be passing through the farm, and they discussed how to prank him. Soon, Jack arrived at the farm, where all his fellow prisoners stood behind a metal fence, shouting at him to hurry up and leave. If it had been before, Jack would have fought them all. But today, he just playfully responded to their taunts.